I, honest to God, never thought I would see something like this from Joe Biden, from really any American president. The most demagogic, dangerous speech I've ever heard from an American president. Truly. I really hated Donald Trump's January 6th speech. But what Donald Trump did not do in that speech is declare that half the country was the enemy. He did not declare that half the country was fundamentally opposed to the basis of the country.
So this is false. Donald Trump constantly talked about how Democrats are the enemy of America and the people, like all the time, like nonstop. We saw this, but that not only did it happen, it was unexceptional because he did it all the time. He talked about how the press was the enemy of the people, which is right out of Hitler's playbook. He talked about how the Democrats are all Antifa BLM rioters, which means they're against America, that they're not real Americans. He did this all the time. He did this like in a decent portion of his speeches, you know?
Everybody who opposes my agenda deserves the back of the American hand.
Biden didn't say my agenda. He said to undermine democracy.
When you look at this image, the image that you're seeing right now of Joe Biden, this is the single worst piece of presidential image making I have ever seen in my entire life.
I disagree. So obviously I'm biased here, but I actually think it's fantastic. The reason for that is because we need to talk about what motivates people. So Republicans already all believe that Joe Biden is a communist, fascist, deep state, adrenochrome, blah, 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 blah. You know, Republicans are insane, political mental illness, can't really be reached. As for independents and left-leaning people, the main issue is that Joe Biden has always lacked the spine. That's the main thing that's held him back. Joe Biden was able to get a record number of votes back in 2020 because people were so afraid of Trump. But the thing he's always lacked is a vision. He's failed to give people the impression that he is an aggressive advocate for them. And this stark image right here, I think, goes a long way towards showing that he means business. Now, again, it is an optics thing. You know, obviously standing in front of red lights and clenching your fist doesn't instantly mean you're actually going to be some hero of the proletariat.
I mean, first of all, let's compare it to some other images, just so you see how bad a piece of imagery this is. It's insane. Okay, how about General Lux from Star Trek, from Star Wars: The Force?
Okay, wait, can we get to the actual points?
Okay, we are talking here about Man in the High Castle, when John Smith is first introduced in the Vauxhall in New York.
Wait, you're going to compare to this? What, because there are people behind them? You know the president frequently gives speeches with people behind... Okay. Sure, yes, okay. Even I made the first order comparison, but this is a reach.
Scar from Lion King, it's insane.
Scar from It's literally just the color red. Okay, it is literally just the color red. Okay, all right, thank you. Also, what frame of The Lion King is this from? Why is it so washed out with red? Were they like scrolling through the frames of the movie and they were like this is right before the ground opens up underneath him during the Be Prepared song? This isn't even like a key frame. This is just like a transitional frame. It's okay. It's like there's a red filter over it. All right, sure. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I've just got breaking word coming in. Another image that Joe Biden looked like, or something. Another image pulled straight from history. Here we go. Oh yeah. Joe Biden possibly deliberately framing himself exactly like this historic image from Nazi Germany. There we go. There it is, folks. Now do you see? Now do you see how bad the optics were?
He's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's gripping his fists up in the air. Behind him is Independence Hall, the site of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. Blood red. Blood red. And behind him are two American Marines who are in shadow, except for their white gloved hands. And behind him, there's a pale light that looks like...
Yeah, it looks fucking dope. He's like explaining how cool it looks. He's like doing the every frame a painting, except he's trying to make it sound scary. I like how he keeps saying blood red too, when first of all, this isn't blood red. And it's like, make it look scary, you know. Blood red.
And then, what if we put a couple of Marines behind him to look like military force is what is backing him? This is a taxpayer-sponsored event, by the way.
What? It's the president giving a speech. Of course. What the fuck do you mean? They're Marines. Of course, it's taxpayer. You don't personally like. Do you think Joe Biden's gonna like personally like? Oh hey Jack. I'm doing a speech later tonight. Can you? He's like gives them a billfold or something. Yeah. He's the president.
And the speech was designed to attack all of his political opponents and treat them as enemies of the state. That's what this speech was designed to do. because Joe Biden...
He didn't say that. He said enemies of democracy. So Ben Shapiro is aware of the fact that he's the bad guy here. And you can tell because he never actually points out what Joe Biden said. Ben Shapiro has framed Joe Biden's words in a number of ways, none of them correct. He said that Joe Biden called his political enemies enemies of the state. He said they're enemies of the state broadly. He said that anyone who opposes his agenda is the enemy, but he didn't say any of those things. Joe Biden simply said the MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy. That's it. What Ben Shapiro is doing here is sort of implicitly validating Joe Biden's point, which is that Ben Shapiro is an enemy to democracy. And you can tell because he's not willing to actually confront the talking point right there. He's not willing to actually like acknowledge what's being said. Instead, he pivots off. He does the, you know, the cry-bully thing, the, oh, how dare you point out that I'm basically just a fascist, you know? That makes you the fascist, really. By saying that we're fascists, it makes you the fascist, you know? Like, imagine the Nazis doing this if, like, the SDP in Germany had been like, hey, yo, the Nazis are fascists. We got a real problem here. The KDP or whatever. They were like, hey, you know, this is kind of an issue. These guys are they're literally Nazis. Did I say SDP? SPD, sorry. These guys are literal Nazis, you know? They're actual literal Nazis. Were the Nazis even this crybaby? Yeah, they were. They did the exact same thing. The Nazis would post inflammatory media, get themselves criticized or censored, and then they would crybaby about it. Yeah, obviously it was before social media, so the extent of their crybabying wasn't as significant as what people could do today. But they did the same basic thing, where they framed the people who opposed them as the actual enemies of the German people and of democracy. They said that the press were enemies of the people that posted lies. Well, they said Jewish lies, you know, but, you know, lies, to, you know, deny the German people their righteous providence by suppressing the Nazi party.
The basic idea here is to raise the temperature. I think this is more likely to result in acts of violence that Joe Biden is then going to use as a case to run in 2022 and 2024.
He said he opposed violence in all forms, so I don't know where we're getting that from. So notice, by the way, that Ben Shapiro here is saying raise the violence, like the tone of violence, rather than Democrats will do violence. You know what he's actually saying here?
It's more likely to result in acts of violence that Joe Biden is then going to use as a case to run in 2022 and 2024.
Acts of violence that would be used as a political pretext for Biden, that would mean Republicans are doing the violence. Ben Shapiro is preemptively blaming Joe Biden for Republicans responding to being called fascists by being violent. That's what's being said here. He's essentially saying, how dare you call us fascists? And now I bet it's going to be real convenient when the people you called fascists do fascism thing and do violence in favor of fascism. That's real convenient for you, huh? That's what's being said here.
The president of the United States going out there and saying that the half of the country that disagrees with, he has a 38% approval rating, half the country, more than half, that disagrees with him, that these are people who are associated with pure evil.
Nope, he didn't say any of these words. He just said MAGA Republicans are enemies of democracy. That's it. He's just making stuff up over here. Find the pure evil section of the Joe Biden speech.
He speaks about his fellow Americans.
Yeah, by the way, if there are any cons who are watching right now, I have to ask you, any reason at all why Ben Shapiro needs to do this much framing before the speech? Like, why do you have to be primed so hard? And why is he saying things that are objectively incorrect?
He's using all the power of the office, including taxpayer dollars, and all the imagery of traditional American republicanism, small r republicanism, in order to prop up a demagogic piece of fascistic speech-making.
Like, look at all this priming that's being done. It's insane. Stay terrified, everyone. Hey, you're watching this? Stay terrified, okay? Hang on every word. We're 2/3 of the way through the video, and we haven't heard a single word from Joe Biden, you know?
So here he was at the very beginning, and Jill is walking him out to the podium because he now needs to be walked from place to place as our president.
They're just walking next to each other.
So there he is. I mean, he can barely walk.
What? Wait, they're just walking. This is. I guess they have to convince the Republicans watching that Trump's public behavior with his wife is like normal or something. Okay, yeah, all right, whatever. Okay.
She's leading him out there.
Yeah, okay.
If this doesn't feel like the death of the Republic to you, I don't know what would. He's in front of Independence Hall.
Sure.
He can barely raise his hand to wave.
What?
Okay, and then she ushers him to the podium, and then he begins to speak. So he starts off by welcoming his fellow Americans.
Oh, God, is he going to... Wait, you're going to show it, right? You're not going to... Okay. Oh, okay. Again, guys, this signals fear. This signals fear. I hope you understand that. The behavior Ben Shapiro is exhibiting here is an indication that they're afraid of the contents of the speech. If the speech was genuinely bad, they could just play it and react to it. Instead, we need, like, the entire video dedicated to priming to get the audience in the right mindset to ignore the content of the speech.
By his fellow Americans, he means everyone who agrees with him. This was a pure campaign speech, but it is laced through with kind of seething hatred for his fellow Americans.
When he says hello, what he actually means is, I hate you Republicans, die. And when he says, my fellow Americans, what he actually means is, my fellow Americans, but only people who voted for me and everyone else can die. And when he says, it's a great day out today, how are you all doing? What he actually means is, it's a great day unless you're a Republican, in which case you can die.
I speak to you tonight from sacred ground in America. Independence Hall.
When he says sacred, he means sacred to Satanists, and all Christians and people of Judaic faith can die.
Here he was talking about the soul of the nation. What is America really all about?
We the people. We the people. These two documents and the ideas they embody, equality and democracy, are the rock upon which this nation is built.
How? I can't believe this video. What now, Ben? What now?
Because when he says equality, what he means is equity. Right?
Oh my God, he's literally doing the meme. When he says equality, what he actually means is equity, and by equity he means Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Oh my God, he's actually doing the meme. This is Gamergate tier like media analysis right here. It's beyond pedantry. It's hyper pedantry.
Equity means equality of outcome. It does not mean that you have equal rights under the Constitution. That is not what he cares about.
The video is done. So but when he said America was founded on equality, he didn't mean the Constitution. What he actually meant is that the founding fathers wrote down that black people should get jobs before white people.
It was about equality of mechanisms, and it was equality that
incredible. That's it. That's literally the whole video. Incredible. Ben, I fucking love you, man. I love you, man. Holy shit. Teal Deer tier content right here. Oh my God. What a terrifying speech that must have been for you to have shown literally none of it. Holy shit.